Okay, so in the last video, we talked about experimental probability, and in this video, we're going to be talking about theoretical probability. Now, the difference between experimental and theoretical probability is the fact that with experimental probability, you have data that was actually collected from an experiment that you're looking at, whereas theoretical probability, you're just looking at what would the probability be in theory. So, here's our first example, and we are told to write our answer as a fraction, a decimal, and a percentage. Stephen has a bag of 20 pieces of candy. 2 are bubblegum, 2 are chocolates, 2 are fruit chews, and the rest are peppermints. If he randomly draws one piece of candy, what is the probability that it will be chocolate? So we want to figure out the probability of picking a chocolate piece of candy here. Okay, so notice 2 are bubblegum, 2 are chocolate, 2 are fruit chews, and the rest are peppermints. Now, we can't add those to get a total here, but they do tell us there's a total of 20 pieces of candy. So you always want to figure out your total before you start, just like we did with experimental probability. So there's a total of 20 pieces of candy in the bag. Now, the number of favorable or desired outcomes just means the outcome that we want. So we want our outcome to be chocolate. And they tell us 2 of the candies are chocolate. So our probability of chocolate, okay, I'm going to use my notation, capital P for probability, and then inside my parentheses I'm putting the event that I want, which is a chocolate piece of candy. So I have 2 out of 20. Now that fraction is not simplified, so I need to go ahead and simplify it. I always want my fractions in simplest form, so 2 out of 20 will become 1/10. I also want to write this as a decimal. So if you take 1 divided by 10, you will get 1/10 or 0.1. And then to convert this to a percentage, all you have to do is move your decimal point 2 places to the right, which gives you 10%. So these are your answers. 1/10, 0.1, or 10%. All right, let's look at number 2. So Morris needs to borrow a tie from his dad for the school dance. He has 3 striped ties, 6 solid ties, and 3 polka dotted ties. If Morris randomly picks a tie from his dad's collection without looking, what is the probability that he picks a striped tie? So this time they don't give us the total, so we actually have to add these numbers up to get our total. So we're going to take 3 plus 6 plus 3, so that would be a total of 12 ties. Now, he wants our desired or favorable outcome, the one that we want is a striped tie. So they tell us that there are a total of 3 striped ties. So I'm going to come down here, I'm going to calculate my probability, the probability of striped tie. I know I have 3 striped ties out of a total of 12 ties. Now, once again, this fraction needs to be simplified, so 3 over 12 simplifies to 1/4. You can divide the numerator and the denominator by 3. To convert this to a decimal, on your calculator, take 1 divided by 4, you get 0.25 or 25 hundredths. And then to convert your decimal to a percentage, just move your decimal point 2 places to the right. So 25%. And those are your answers.